Hey guys, welcome back to Gas Candy. And if this is your first time, welcome. This channel, we do things with cars that you probably shouldn't do, but we do anyway. So today is a special day. This is the start of our series, Cruise Week 2022, OC Maryland, ramp up to Cruise Week. So this year we are going to be taking this 1940 Ford. I've had this thing for a few years. She's just kind of been a shop queen. But we're going to get her running and get her down the road. We have to replace the transmission, replace the rear, put in the glass, and just make it run in general. The transmission that we're going to be using in place of the blown transmission that's in the 40 is out of my 1980 Malibu Wagon. We got this wagon a few years back also. It's actually been down to Cruise Week twice, 2 years in a row, back to back. We know she runs. We know she drives. It's got a big block out of an RV that was crashed. This thing's actually got a really cool history behind it, which is just too much to get into right now. But this has a really good 350 turbo in it. Shifts good, runs good, no problems. We're going to be taking it out of the wagon and putting it into the 40. Now, the reason we're doing that, there's a couple different reasons. The 350 that's in this car, it's actually a better combo for a car that doesn't weigh too much. The 40 only clocks in at about 2,700 pounds. Not too bad. The wagon, on the other hand, she's coming in a little bit heavier. She's running in about 3,750. She's a big girl. She still has all the glass, all the trim. It's just one of those things where a beefier transmission would probably be a little bit better combo for. Not to mention that it's a big block 454 with a mother thumper cam, and we got a couple other little performance parts in there added too. So, to put the performance behind the motor to actually get the power to the wheels, it'd definitely be a good thing. So in order to do that, we're going to be using this 400 turbo that was built by Jim Hostler in Delaware. That's my training guy. He does all my transmissions. He's really good at what he does, knows what he's doing, and I don't trust my transmissions to anyone else. So we're going to be, again, running the 400 turbo. We're going to be backing that up with a 3,000 stall torque converter. These were parts that I had laying around. These were actually spare parts because I used to drag race a 1981 two-door Malibu for about 16 years. And it just got to be one of those things where I just got tired of driving it. I love the car, but we ended up getting rid of her, and these are the spare parts that we had left over. This transmission has 0 miles on it. It's never been installed after the rebuild. So it's got better gears. It's got reverse manual valve body. The shift down cable has been removed, so you have to manually shift it. And this is going to be what you need behind the 454 to handle the torque, put the torque to the rear tires, and actually hold the weight of the car better. So I guess the only thing left is to get to it. All right, guys, it's day 2 on our transmission swap. Last night, me and Dave actually got the 350 turbo out of the wagon. We finished up probably about 11:30, so it was super late. On top of that, we could have just kept pushing through, but when we took the mount off of the transmission, it just crumbled in our hands. On top of that, I needed a few extra parts, and I needed some new tranny lines since the 400 is tapped for braided lines. So I had to get some dash 6s, and there's only a few places that I can get that from. Luckily, my buddy Bill Norris down at Positive Performance was able to hook me up. If you need braided line or any work done on your car, he's the guy to see. Right in Delaware, give him a call. But he was able to hook me up with some line, so we're going to see if we can't stick this one in tonight, get it plumbed, and then we might get lucky. I'm pretty confident I have a dry shaft for it down at my dad's shop, so we're going to definitely do some hunting and see if we just can't get this thing moving tonight. If we get it in, that's a win. If we get it moving, I'll be over the moon. So let's just see, let's get cracking on it and just see what we can come up with. All right, guys, here's a little tech tip. I'm too lazy to order the right stuff tutorial. So this cross member is actually a cross member for a 350 turbo for a G-body. And the way it works is this hard angle right here is actually for the driver's side, and it puts this square with the passenger side to pull it in. Now for a 350, the tail shaft is a little bit shorter than a 400, so your mounting bracket is going to be on this side of the cross member. But since we're going to a 400, now the 400 is a little bit longer, it's going to have to mount on this side. So if it's not in your budget to buy another one of these and you kind of need something done now, I'm going to show you how to convert this to this, because it ain't just as easy as whack whack. You actually got to make a couple measurements and do it the right way. So I'm going to illustrate my way, which we'll call the right way, of doing it. So bear with me. You need a tape measure and something to score with. We're also going to need a square too. We'll take our first measurement from the corner of the weld here to the center of the hole. And it's looking about 4.5, a little under 4.5. So we make our scowl mark. Do the same thing. Come from this corner over a little under 4.5. So we're going to be dead on there. Take your first measurement from here. Remember we said it's a little under 4.5, or a little over 4.5 coming from this side. So there's 4.5. Make your mark. And we take our square. You could probably get away with just doing it with a square, but a measurement always comes in handy. That's about center. That's a little better. Okay, so that line should be dead center How about that? Right there. Now we know when we make our cut, because we're going to try to cut the weld and get it as close to the box tubing as we can. When we flip this on the side, we know that center of this and center of the line of that will be exactly square on this side, or as close to square as you can get it. Okay, now that we've repositioned our cross member into our vise, we're going to cut and we're going to stay as close to that weld on the box tubing as we can. After we get it cut, we're actually going to grind this down smooth and paint it because I have OCD. We'll put our safety glasses on. Plug in your cutting wheel. Voila, just like that. Okay, now that we got the mount, the actual mount cut off the back of the cross member, our next job is going to be to take the paint off of this side. You definitely want a nice, clean, flat surface to weld on, especially if you're not stick welding. MIG welding, TIG welding, you're going to need a flat, clean surface. There's just no way around it. So we're going to get this cleaned up. That way we get a good, solid, penetrating weld. Alright guys, now that we got our transmission cross member cleaned up, it's time to clean up the actual bracket that's going to hold the mount. So what we want to do is we're going to grind this flat, and then after we get all the weld off of this and make it nice and flat, we're actually going to bevel the edges along the sides in, so that when we weld, it's actually going to get real good penetration, and it's actually going to help sturdy this. That makes a lot of difference. It makes a big difference. So. In the process of trying to get this flat, I was using the cutting wheel, and it's got a nice mountain range going. So we're going to have to use this belt sander, and we're going to try to get it as even as possible. Of course, everything is jammed up. Don't do what I do, kid. Hot. There you go. All right, let's go clean up the edges. We're good to go.
Alright guys, well, we're back in the shop again. I'm in the shop. He's not done work yet, so that's why I'm shooting this little mini intro. May or may not use it, but so what we got to do today is we need to get the spark plug wires that are here back onto the wagon, so that I can use those spark plug wires to be able to work and put some of them on this ones, because these are obviously slightly burnt. A couple of them got ripped off. They're old, but we had robbed a couple off of that to get this going last year, and we had a couple problems. We thought it might have been the wires. It ended up being a valve adjustment situation, so we got that that sorted out. So, but we never did put the yellow wires back on the wagon. So what we're going to do first is get the wires, the yellow wires, back onto the wagon, so that we can use the ones that originally came off of the 40 back onto the 40. things about having a big block Malibu. Sometimes it's a little hard, especially when you have different headers that aren't actually for this car. So sometimes you just gotta keep thinking about putting the spark plug wires on. Okay. We're going to try to get the drive shaft back into the wagon so we can get it moving and running and driving again. There's a swap meet actually here local to us tomorrow, so we were hoping that maybe if we get the drive shaft in, we can give it a little test run and run up to a swap meet and maybe pick up some stuff for the 40 that we need. Maybe some window pieces, who knows. But we got the drive shaft done up, cut down the 1.5 inches that it needs to be. Now I gotta clean all the crap where we've been stacking stuff on top of the wagon for the 40 and see if I can't get the wagon up and moving again so we can take it for a little test drive this afternoon, hopefully. Alright, I'm gonna get to it. Alright guys, so yep, I don't think you can see that. Got the drive shaft installed. So that's done. Got the dipstick in. Right there.
Well,
tighten the trans lines.
80% in.
That's done. And now we're getting ready to add some fluid. So yeah.
That's a gallon.
See if anything.
Let it drain down for a second. Oh, yeah, oh! Tilt steering this part, let me tell you.
Just take the column out of this, put it in the 40, put the nice column in this, and then you're done.
What the heck? No, I got a tilt steer for it down there in the mine. I know it'll go right in here.
Oh, hold on. Gotta hook the distributor back up. Might as well hook the tack too while I'm here. Okay. Yep. Alright guys, so we got the fluid in the transmission, got it up to temperature, checked the level, everything was good. Took it out on a little test drive. Didn't take the camera, unfortunately, but we didn't have third gear. So what I think we got going on is just a shifter adjustment issue. So we're gonna get it back up on the jack, put jack stands underneath, crawl underneath there and see what we can't see with it. Let's do it. Okay guys, so I got underneath there and as you can see we have a little difference here. So this is the one that was on the transmission that we had in there, and then this is the one that comes with B&M shifters, or at least the one that I'm familiar with. Maybe that one comes on other ones, but as I'm familiar with them, this is the This is the bracket that comes on B&M shifters. So we're going to put this one on, and then we'll have Vince adjust it up, because I don't really have a track record with putting on shifter linkages, or adjusting shifters. So I'm going to put this on, and then you'll be probably seeing Vince, and hopefully we can go out for a quick ride and everything will be smooth and we can move on to getting this 40 done. So I'm going to get to it.
All right, guys, so Dave got done work a little early today and was able to find the missing shifter linkage for the 400 that we misplaced, or I misplaced. So I'm going to get underneath. We're going to see if we can't shore it up, see if we can't get it to function properly, and then hopefully go on a test ride and hopefully have all 3 years. If we do, we're going to end this with a big nasty smoky burnout. So fingers crossed.
Neutral.
Go to first.
First.
Second.
Second. Third.
All right, go back up to park.
Park.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, if that don't work, I don't know what to do.
Good then? Wonderful. You were in first.
Well, guys, unfortunately, this is one of those times where reality beats fiction. Unfortunately, with the new shifter cable, or the new shifter linkage that we adjusted to the shifter cable, unfortunately, we still don't have third. I don't know why just yet. The only thing I can think of is the transmission was sitting for a while in my garage. It was actually built for another car that I had years ago, and it was built as a spare. It was an exact replica of the transmission that was in my old Malibu. The reason for that was if you're ever racing and you're in between rounds and something happens, you don't want to lose your spot due to transmission failure. So the more spare parts you have, the better off you are. We got it out of my shed, my shop, and into this shop to put it into this car to try it out. And it sat for probably about 3 years. Now there was residual fluid in it, obviously, to keep everything lubricated. And it's not like it was sitting outside. Everything was capped off and plugged. So I'm going to be giving the trans builder a call tomorrow and just see what he thinks. It might be something that we have to take down and send to him so he can take a look at. It might be something really stupid that I'm just not doing. That's a real possibility. So we're definitely going to be giving him a call and we'll figure it out. Worst case scenario, if he can't get to it and we can't figure it out, I do have another 400 turbo. I was collecting them for years because I just love that transmission. It's good, it's strong, it'll handle any kind of power you throw at it, or can be built to handle any power you throw at it. People are texting me. So if worst case scenario, if we can't use this transmission, we'll just flip-flop them just so we can get this thing back on the road. She will pull first and second hard, but as soon as you try to find third, she's not there. So once we get that figured out, we'll go from there. This is kind of like back burnerish anyway, because the 40, we're making leaps and bounds on it. A whole bunch of parts come in for this, which just kind of really blew me away. And on top of that, Maple Grove Swap Meet was last weekend, and I got some delicious deals down there. I was so happy. I found some really cool parts that were totally unnecessary, but I want them, and they're going to look really good on the car. So we're going to set this aside for right now until we can get a more complete picture of what's going on, and we're gonna jump back to the 40. And as soon as we get this one done and we can do some real nasty smoky burnouts, we'll get that out to you too. So again, stick around, make sure you like and subscribe, stay up to date on all of our future content. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. What do you want to see more of? Do you like the 40? Do you not like the 40? Do you like the wagon? Not like the wagon? Do you like the Monty? Not like the Monty? We'll see what happens. But thanks for sticking around. And until the next one, remember, if it's broken, try to fix it. I'll see you.